Students, Jai Hind everyone. I hope all are fine. Today we start our sixth chapter in geography, major relief feature of the earth. In this chapter we shall study about the earth as a planet. इस चैप्टर में हम पढ़ेंगे और हमने प्रीवियस चैप्टर में भी डिस्कस किया है हमारे डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ प्लैनेट्स हैं उनमें से अर्थ है एक। इसमें इस चैप्टर में वी शैल डिस्कस अबाउट द मेजर लैंडफॉर्म माउंटेन प्लेट्यू प्लेन्स chapter 6 in his geography. So let's start our chapter major relief features of the earth.
And how they are formed. First we look at learning object. First learning object is formation of landform. In this 2 points, internal process and external process. Second point is major landforms. Types of landforms: mountains, plateau, plains. And last point, people and landforms. Let's start from first point. Look at the picture below and see how the earth's surface has different appearance. Here's the pictures. You can see lake, oceans, river, islands, desert, hills, plains. What causes the earth to change its form? Let us study why and how these landforms are created on the earth's surface. First point is formation of landforms. You have studied that the earth is continuously moving. It rotates on its axis and even revolves around the sun. You do not feel these movements even though these movements are faster than probably any car on the earth. Additionally, there is continuous movement under the earth's surface as well. Internal process. The Earth's surface is made up of several huge plates called tectonic plates. These are many thousand meters thick and they cover millions of square kilometers of the surface. The division lines between the plates are not visible. As such, on the surface, these plates keep moving, rubbing, pushing, and pulling against each other. Their movement is very slow and cannot be felt by us. Only sometimes you may feel the movement when you feel an earthquake for a few seconds. The movement of the tectonic plates causes change in the shape of land. There are continuous activities happening inside and outside of the earth. These are known as internal process. They causes the rising or sinking of the earth's surface. The hill, mountain, valley, etc. are formed by these movements. Let's come on next point, external process. The other activities that occur over the Earth's surface are called external process. The external process causes erosion and deposition. However, these processes are very slow and happens over many years. Erosion. Erosion is the process of degradation and removal of the Earth's surface. You would have seen sand. It is fine particle of stone and stone are smaller pieces of rock. Repeated heating and cooling of rocks and stone develop cracks in them. Rain, lightning, and thunder, along with wind and storm, causes them to break further into the finer particles. Rainwater, melting snow, or fast blowing winds move sand from one place to another. This is called erosion, and this process happens over a period of many years. Next one is deposition. Deposition is also called the process of aggradation. In this process, erode materials like debris and finer particles of sand are moved by wind, waves, and rain, and they keep getting accumulated at one place. This collection of eroded material is called deposition. Major landforms. Landforms are broadly classified as mountains, plateaus, and plains. Let us see how the various landforms are formed. Mountains and hills. We are discussing 2 points about this. Mountains are natural elevations of the earth's surface. They are generally categorized by a small summit and a broad base. They rise above the surrounding sharply. There could be isolated mountain or a series of them. A series of mountains are also known as mountain ranges. The Andes in South America and the Himalayas in India are the famous mountain range, which are not only extended but also very high. Although not specifically defined, but smaller mountains with height less than 2000 feet above mean sea level are called hills. Most mountains have low temperature and are covered with snow. The highest mountains have shucked a thick layer of snow which turn into ice at places. The mountain surface may not be visible at all and is fully covered by snow or ice. Among these high mountains, we find frozen rivers, which are called glaciers. These glaciers are frozen mass of ice, which may be hundreds of feet thick and hundreds of meters wide, just like a river you see. Many of rivers which we see in the plains originate from the glaciers and travel through hundreds of kilometers to reach the sea. Types of mountains. Now we discuss our new point, types of mountain. Here three mountains we discuss: fold mountain, block mountain and volcanic mountain. Mountains are classified as fold mountain, block mountain and volcanic mountain. They are distinct and identified. Let us see them one by one. Fold mountain. These mountains look like a series of folds on the ground. These are formed due to the compression of plates during their movements as depicted in the sketch below. Spread a sheet of cloth on the table and then push the sheet from one side. It will be rise into the fold at many places. This is what the fold mountain would look like. A look at the illustration would help you understand how much mountain look. The Himalayas in India, the Alps in Europe, and the Andes in South America are example of such fold mountains. Next point is block mountain. Block mountains. These are formed when the plates drift outwards and causes vertical displacement in the pieces of land. Pieces of land may sink downward or rise upwards. The uplifted blocks are called hostas and the lowered blocks are called graben. The, the Vosges mountain in Europe is one such example. Next is volcanic mountain. These are mountains which are formed as a result of volcanic eruptions. Such mountains are found in many parts of the world, especially towards Japan, New Zealand, North Europe, and South America. You will get a fair understanding by looking at the sketch and the picture. Next is importance of mountains. Mountains play an important part in human life. Mountains affect the movements of winds and flow of water. High mountains block the movement of wind from one side to the other. For example, due to the presence of the Himalayas, cold winds from Tibet and China cannot come towards India. Similarly, they force rain clouds to shed the moisture in India. Second point, many rivers flow out of the glacier in the Himalayas and other regions of the country. These rivers provide water for agriculture and other uses to people living in the plain. Next point. Mountains have rich deposit of minerals. These can be extracted from use of human beings. Next fourth point. Many people visit the mountain for adventure and tourism. Many sports like rock climbing, paracycling are associated with mountain as the reason poses change for the human and endurance. Tourists visit mountains reason for their natural scenic beauty. Mountains have a variety of flora and fauna which is quite different from the plains. The cooler temperature, the type of soil, and the water streams allow different varieties of animals and plants to survive in the mountains. Next point, plateau. Plateaus. Plateaus are a Plateaus are a type of raised grounds which are particularly flat on top. They are like tabletop and stand distantly from the rest of the surrounding. They may be just a few meter to hundred of meter height. They are generally formed by cooling of volcanic material which settles down and solidify after an eruption. The Deccan Plateau in India. Example, the Deccan Plateau in India and Tibetan Plateau are the famous plateau of Asia. The Tibetan Plateau is the highest plateau in the world and it is also called the roof of the world. Importance of plateaus. Plateaus are categorized by rich mineral deposit. For example, Chota Nagpur Plateau in India is rich in coal and iron. There are many waterfalls where rivers waterfalls over the edge of the plateau on to the area below. At several places, these falls are used to generate electricity. The plateau which have black soil are good for growing crops like cotton and other cash crops. Extensive farming is done on such soil. Plains. Plains are the most common land form. They are flat or nearly flat surface which could be formed by the external process of erosion and deposition. They are normally formed by a fine soil called the alluvia or alluvial soil, brought down from the mountain by the rivers. Some of the famous plains in the world are the Gangetic Plains in India and Yunnan in China. Rivers coming down from higher region have a narrow path and higher flow of water and move very fast as the slope is sharp and surface is rocky. This spread and force of the water make them carry along large amount of erode material from the mountain surface and surrounding. Once the river reaches the plain, it gets wider since the same amount of water is now flowing through a wider area and shallow slopes. It would automatically lose its speed. The river starts depositing the soil and the particles it brought from the higher reaches, which are left behind as alluvial deposit in the plain. Gradually, the river reaches the place where it meets the sea or the oceans. By the time it reaches this area, it gets so slow that the erode material is left behind as sediment and silt. Such areas where the river sediment divide the water channels into many small distributaries is known as delta. Importance of plains. Plains have fertilized soil and they are also rich in minerals. Fertilized soil facilitates growing of crops and therefore most of the ancient civilizations came up in these fertile area. The flat surface of the plain facilitate easy movement of transportation of people and goods as well as construction and setting up of industry. It is easier to make road, railway, bridge, airports and industry center on the plains than on the other landforms. The river basins and plains are thus the most populous area all over the world. People and landforms. Last point is people and landforms. People have always chosen to live at places where they could get food, water, and shelter. They also live in high mountain, in jungle, and in desert. In desert, life is difficult in such regions, and therefore people want to migrate to place where they can live a comparative easier life. This lead to people migrating town and cities in search of jobs and livelihood. Town and cities are therefore getting highly understated. You have studied that landforms are a result of the internal and external process which are an going process. These processes are responsible for disaster like earthquake, landslide, flood, volcanoes, tsunami, cyclone, etc., which keep happening at different places. These processes at time causes serious destructions and causes heavy loss of life and property. We all know that the surface of the earth is unique, but its capability to sustain agriculture and industry is limited. We should not be do anything which harm the earth. Pollution of air and water, use of polythene, wastage of water,